What if I told you that history, as we know it, is not always the truth? That every story is shaped by the one who tells it? The story we hear about a lion is often told from the perspective of the hunter. But what if the lion had a voice? What would it say? Today, we explore a timeless African proverb: until the lion learns to write, every story will glorify the hunter. This proverb speaks to the power of storytelling and the control of history. It teaches us that the victors write the story. But what if we gave a voice to the unheard? In today's video, we'll dive into the hidden stories of history, examine who controls narratives, and ask ourselves, what happens when the lion learns to write? The proverb we're discussing speaks to a deeper truth. It suggests that the stories we hear about the world are often one-sided, told from the perspective of those in power. The lion symbolizes the powerless, the oppressed, the forgotten voices. The hunter represents those who have the power to write history, whether they deserve it or not. Think about it, what if we had only ever heard the hunter's side of the story? Would we ever understand the lion's true nature? This is the power of storytelling. If the lion learns to write, it becomes the author of its own history, able to share its truth and perspective. But what happens when the oppressed do not have the ability to write? Their voices fade into history, erased or altered by those who had the pen. In Africa, oral storytelling has always been central to the culture, passing down wisdom, history, and values. But when Europeans arrived on African shores, they brought with them their own stories about the continent. Many African leaders, like Shaka Zulu, were portrayed as ruthless conquerors in European writings. Yet to the people of southern Africa, he was a brilliant military leader and a unifying force. The problem is clear: when the lion cannot write, history is written through the lens of the hunter's biases. African history, rich and complex, was reduced to stereotypes or silenced entirely. The lion must learn to write, to tell its story in its own words and through its own eyes. In the United States, Hollywood films have long depicted Native Americans as either savages or stoic heroes. But this narrow view fails to capture the richness of their cultures. Indigenous Americans were storytellers, medicine people, and warriors, but much of their stories were erased by European settlers. The history they lived and shared was twisted by those who controlled the media and government. The lion must learn to write its own history and reclaim the stories that were lost in the shuffle of time. This is why today, many Native American communities are working to preserve their languages and traditions, to write their own stories and challenge the narrative that has long been told about them. In ancient times, the Egyptians were known for their advanced knowledge in fields like astronomy, mathematics, and architecture. Yet, many Greek historians, like Herodotus, are credited with bringing knowledge to the world. But Egypt had been sharing wisdom for millennia before Herodotus. The stories we hear from Greek historians often overlook the contributions of the Egyptians and other African civilizations. What would have happened if the Egyptians had been able to write their own history? Would we have learned more about their wisdom and innovations? Like the lion, Egypt's story was rewritten by the hunter, those who had the power to record and document history. In today's world, the media is the new pen. Whoever controls the media controls the story. But what happens when the media is used as a tool of power? Take propaganda, for example. Governments and leaders use media to tell their version of the story. History is shaped by the images and messages we see every day. Think about how certain groups are portrayed in the media. The othering of certain cultures, or the framing of certain wars as heroic. If the lion could speak, would the story be told differently? The media today, much like the hunter of ancient times, has the power to shape perception and control the narrative. But the lion is learning to write, and new voices are emerging to reclaim the truth. Storytelling is a powerful tool. Throughout history, it has been used to teach, preserve culture, and inspire change. But what happens when the stories we hear are one-sided? In many cultures, stories were passed down orally, but the written word became a tool of power. The hunter wrote the stories, while the lion was left with no voice. Today, oral traditions are making a comeback. Communities around the world are reclaiming their history, retelling their stories, and rewriting their narratives. The lion is learning to write, and it's sharing its truth with the world. The lion has learned to write. It has found its voice, and with it, it is rewriting history. As we move forward, We must recognize that history is not just the story of the powerful. It's the story of everyone, the lion, the hunter, and all the others who are part of the tapestry of life. So I ask you, my friends, what stories do you have to share? What truths are waiting to be written? Let us all find our own pen, our own voice, and write the history of our time. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe to the channel.